flag is down.
And we are underway in the 3-mile race for the F. Valentine Chapel Trophy.
This is a very clean start from both crews. You know, we're really in this wonderful contrast to last year when there was a roaring cross headwind and it was very tough going. So here we are. They're still in their high strokes. Yale a bit higher and certainly stronger. Looks to me, Andy, that Yale has taken advantage of this and is.
Yeah, they're rowing a little longer to bow than Harvard, and it's working for them. They're sending the boat just a little bit further.
Yep, and they've got a good clear 5 or 6 seats now. Not quite a half a boat length, but they've 6-man on bowman sort of thing.
Yeah. And interestingly, Harvard's rowing a little bit higher than Yale, and they're not getting a lot of traction out of it, and Yale continues to move out. I mean, we're only 50, 55 seconds into the race, and Yale is continuing to move.
Yeah, Yale's done a very nice job with it. Yale is definitely moving. They're both at 39. They're both rowing some high strokes, and it's yeah, they are.
Yep, Yale continues to move, 38.5, and they have almost a length now.
Yeah, this is a very, very fast move for Yale here, and here, as pundits, we are telling you how close this is going to be. It looks like Yale doesn't want it to be close. They are really putting the hammer down and really putting Harvard in a place where they can control them.
I don't know if you guys were paying attention to the heights of this Yale JV in the middle of the boat, but Garth Holden, a 3-seat, tremendously tall person. They're using their leverage quite well here. Now they have open water, and this is a really nice place for Yale to be here. It's almost 2 minutes in, and they're continuing to move.
Yeah, they're continuing to move, and I've got Yale still at 38.5, Harvard down to 37. But what they're doing is working really well.
Now, as we've talked about Rob Hearn coming out of the varsity, they put in this freshman, Mr. Winters, who was the stroke of this JV. So this JV, you know, Rob being sick, changed not only the lineup for the varsity, but also changed the lineup for this JV, and they have adopted very well. Seth has stepped right in. Seth Bartlett, sophomore, has stepped right in and has them with about quarter length of open water, 2.5 minutes into this 3-mile race.
Yeah, yeah, and they continue to seem to have a little more speed here. And if Harvard wants to play in this game, they have got to close to a length. They cannot let Yale, you know, in these 2-boat races, it gets binary. If Yale can get themselves out like they are a little bit further, they can watch, they can wait, they can be relaxed.
Yeah, they need to send the boat, let the tailwind push them along, keep their eye on Harvard, who seems to be trying to move back a little bit, maintain contact.
Yep, Harvard is taking a push here. And the referee is signaling to Yale, and the Cox has responded. The referee is just adjusting Yale out of the center zone. The rules of this race a little bit different than international rules of rowing and U.S. rules of rowing in that each crew has a right to its own water. So in other races, you can cross lanes as long as you don't interfere. In this race...
Well, you're talking the boat race in England.
Yes,
sure.
Well, certainly there where you can actually cross the whole lane. But even in international rowing, if you don't interfere, you can go where you feel like. Not true here. You got to stay in your lane.
Well, we're coming into Mammocoke Hill to where the start of the 2-miler was. We're about 15 seconds before the 4-minute mark. And there hasn't been much change in the position here of these two crews. Yale is about a quarter length of open water ahead of Harvard and have not been able to move away from that. But Harvard hasn't been able to move back into Yale either.
Harvard made a little push, but that push seemed to end. And it looks to me, actually, Andy, that Yale is making a push here and stretching themselves out a bit again.
Let's see what happens through this 2-mile mark.
We'll try to take a split on this 2-mile mark.
And 4:26 or so to Harvard's 4:31.
Yeah, so I get 4.7 seconds split. So that is roughly a quarter length. So
right.
we'll watch that. We'll watch that as we get in.
So the way the postseason was, neither of these crews have spent a lot of time up here on the Thames. You know, obviously if you're a senior or junior, you've had the previous years of experience up here, but the landmarks that you're used to, the pacing that you develop, and knowing where the sub base is, and And Mammoth Hill, for example, they might not be quite as familiar with that, particularly with all the freshmen in this crew.
And the water is different, even though the wave height may be the same as you find in the basin of Charles. That it's a big spot. The rollers feel differently, and the salt water feels differently.
We're going to have a little wake here from the sub-base police launch. It's going to hit both crews. Yale's going to go through it right now. Maybe we can get a little camera work on that. You can see the wake, just an ordinary wake that you would get on the Charles. Yale seems to have handled it pretty well. No change in the status. It's going to hit Harvard in a little bit further. Let's see how they handle the wake.
And Harvard's gotten through it. I don't think it was wake related, but I think Yale has moved out here. Probably put another second between them. And Yale is being steered again by the referee. It's Laura Konkemuller. She was the head referee at the IRAs, and she was brought here because last year we felt we needed a strong ref. If you want a strong ref, you get a woman.
There you have it. And I know Laura does a lot of the races for Yale back at the Housatonic, and she's outstanding. Outstanding referee. She's steering Yale again, and Yale is starting to move once more.
Yale is really moving out now. And
the 5-seat, Jonas Risberg's doing a tremendous job in there, keeping the crew long, finishing each stroke. It's good to have a senior in the middle of the boat so he can say a few things to the freshman right ahead of him at 6, who's Leonard Jenkins. Just keep things.
You look at him in the 5-seat, and to me, he looks like he's really enjoying this. He's got a big. That's not a grimace so much as a grin. He's looking right down the boat. He knows it's working. He knows the crew is moving well.
Very horizontal. Mile and a half down, so we're halfway through the race, about 6:55 or so. And Yale's pushed out now. They had a quarter of a length. Now it's a full length, maybe a length and a quarter.
Yep.
Very strong position here as they come around the sub base.
This is almost well over, say, a boat lake of open water. And the water now quiets down. That 2 miles to 2.5 is deep water off the sub base. It's a little bumpier. The water now is quieter. It's really both boats able to get clear rhythm and to push.
I just like the way Yale's finishing most of the strokes, particularly
Yale
Mr. Risberg's at 5.
And you commented that on there, just as they came off the high strokes, Yale was getting more effect out of the bow end of the stroke. And you could just see this, if the camera shot at Yale first and moved with the Harvard boat, you can see how Yale is a little more laid back. They're holding the finishes tighter. Right. They're letting the boat run out. All the things we talk about as coaches, it's easier to do it when you're in front.
Yeah. Harvard a little shorter, not getting quite as much leg compression. Well, this has turned into a more dominant performance here by Yale as the minutes tick by and the miles.
It has. You see this at Henley, any lot where you get two crews lined up and you think they're going to be close, and somehow the nature of match racing doesn't work out so well a lot of. When you've got 6 boats along the way, the boats behind keep pushing, and there seems to be more compression.
There's always somebody to race.
Yeah.
Well, I think there's a little bit of IRA desire here on the part of Yale. They didn't finish quite the way they wanted to at the IRA, just being edged out by Princeton in a classic race. Give them a little edge.
I think it did. I have to say that your lightweight crews had a great sprints to IRA section, but Princeton did as well. Princeton heavyweights really were off the mark earlier in the year, and boy, they came on strong at the IRA. Okay, so now we're breaking now into the 2 mile mark for these crews, 3 mile mark on the course, and Yale is now. We're going to take a split for you, but Yale's just going through right now.
Yeah, about 9:25,
and we're going to see Harvard going through the same mark. Now, and I get 9-7 as a split, so that's a dominant performance. We have a mile to go of this race.
Well, I know these guys have been pushing their varsity all year, and Coach Gladstone likes to do a lot of even boats, and certainly this crew has benefited from rowing with some of the guys in the varsity 8 as well, and just going, as Steve would say, nose to nose and toes to toes.
I think that's a terrific way to build the boathouse comedy and to bring the other, bring kids up to the right level, is to even them up with a few shifts and go out there.
The stern pair for Yale doesn't have to do much to find out where Harvard is. I'm sure they're just telling Woods, the coxswain, where Harvard is. You don't see Woods looking around. There it is. He snuck a peek.
Woods now taking that I would say was sort of a luxury look,
Yeah. Just want to make sure you don't hit that green can that's coming up. The famous
green can.
Yeah, number 3.
That has taken down, can 13 has taken down any number of coxswains from Harvard, mostly in practice, thank goodness. One of Yale's great coxswains, Seth Bauer, took out a boat on it in his day. Yale once again is being slid over. I'd say Yale coxswain is doing exactly what he should do, which is being as close to the center line as possible.
Sure.
Okay, and so, for the Harvard guys, this is a question, as Harry would say, this is sort of how stubborn can they be? How can they challenge themselves? It's no longer a question of catching Yale or playing the tactical game. It's just within yourself. Can you get to that line and fully complete yourself? And, they've got to open it up more if they want to bring themselves in. So we are now approaching the flags. We go from buoys to stakes in the ground. It's shallower here. In fact, the inside west lane is probably only about 12 feet deep. Yale's gone through. And here comes Harvard through. So stern to stern, we're now at a 10-second. So Yale gained a little on that, but not too much. They've got things well in hand. I think they're doing exactly the right thing.
Yeah, I'm just impressed by the way they continue to row well. And yes, it is easy to row when you're ahead, but they've earned that.
They
put
cut themselves ahead.
Sure. And I'm very impressed with the stroke. Seth Bartlett, just a sophomore, again stepping in an emergency situation after the sprints when they had to make the adjustment, doing a fantastic job.
Yeah. Well, it's a nice-looking boat, though. It's quite an even boat in terms of their size and in terms of how they're approaching the front end. It's not a throw-together group.
No, and I'm happy for Pete too, my old rower. He's up there in bow, doing a great job, making it stable.
Yeah, you get a year out of him, or did he?
Freshman year, right? He was a sprints champion too. So he started out his Yale career with a sprints gold medal. And now he's finishing it here with the.
What a great place to finish your career, really. You know, the dinner tonight, all that much sweeter as he finishes his career.
Just great.
And,
is there a way to go up parallel with the Yale crew?
So Yale down at 33 and a half now, and we talked about this with the 3V race, that in 2K racing, you might see these crews really ramp it up towards the end of their race. Here, the right thing to do if you're in front is to stay long, stay relaxed, keep the boat in your sights, not do anything crazy, because the idea is to win. And Yale is doing that. They're just passing the rock now.
A lot of Yale fans standing on that Crimson H there on the rock.
Yep, the Yale fans come over, and a lot of them brought their old racing shirts. Nice to see.
So there will be no course record today. We're over 14 minutes, and the record is 13:38. But that doesn't matter to these 9 people in the Yale JV8 who are about to take down the F. Valentine Chapel Trophy to Gales Ferry. And a final time unofficially of 14:30.00.
There we go.
And a gap of about 9.3 seconds in 14:39. Harvard crosses.
Yeah. So Yale did a great job taking command of that race, and they stretched it out all the way until their 2 mile mark. where they were 9.7 ahead, and they just stayed right on it there. And that's absolutely the way to row a long race. So congratulations to them for that performance. That was excellent.
Well, that's 2 out of 3 today. If you count the combo race, it's 2 and 2. But for today, it's
2 and 1.
Right.
Either way you call it, it's
very